Hey guys, and welcome back to my iRacing Road to A-Class series. We're here on the grid for Formula Renault 2.0 race at Interlagos. This is a brand new track for me. I actually don't have hardly any laps here. To be honest with you, I probably should not even be in this race. So taking it very easy here at the beginning just because I don't really know this track too well. I don't want to ruin anyone else's race. Like I said, I probably shouldn't have even been in this race, but I really wanted to get some content out for you guys. I've never run this track in any sim or game, so it's totally new to me. Although I do think I'm getting quite a bit more comfortable with this car. It's really a pretty interesting track. Lots of straightaway time, so makes your exit on certain corners just absolutely crucial.
1:46.196.
So really throughout this race, I'm gonna be learning the track and just figuring stuff out as much as I am racing, really. Right there, spin it out, but I don't hit anything, so I'm gonna keep it going here.
On your right, too wide on the left side. One car only. Keep going. Still there. Clear.
But that's just what I mean, is like, I probably did not have enough practice time to really be in this race, you know. Like, I could have easily messed up someone else's race, probably. So I had actually done, I don't know, 2 or 3 races in this car a couple weeks ago. And it's been so long since I got one of these videos out because I tried to record them, but it seemed like every time something just went wrong, and a couple times I felt like I had a really good video going, and then, I don't know, for whatever reason, it just didn't record the audio for iRacing. So I do have, you know, a few races in this car under my belt. I did that at Suzuka, and Suzuka was a really tough track for me. There's just some high curbs at Suzuka. It was just a pretty treacherous track, it seemed like to me. And it was kind of a new track for me as well. So figuring out exactly the track layout and and how I want to attack every corner. I'm not a road course, you know, expert, but to me, Suzuka seemed like a pretty technical track. Right there, get up on one of the curbs too high and spin it out again. So again, I didn't hit anything, so I'm just gonna rejoin the field.
Left side. Clear.
Just glad I didn't, you know, ruin anyone else's race. So I do believe that Interlagos is quite a bit less treacherous than Suzuka was. So now, it's actually kind of exciting. I'm getting to race with some people now. So this turn right here is very crucial for your exit. You want to be on throttle as soon as you can to get a good run down this straightaway here. And that's a pretty long straightaway. So if you don't get a good exit on that last turn, you're kind of giving up just a ton of speed down the straightaway.
0-1. Right side.
So that guy drives it in too deep, and I get under him.
On your right.
Still outside, I believe. Right there, we're going to clear him. He's going to have that draft to suck back up on us and get a run into the next turn.
Still there.
So that was one of my trouble spots right there. You'll see me in this race get quite a few off-track penalties right there. Or not penalties, but off-track incidents, I guess. I think really what I need to do there is just be a little bit less aggressive with how much speed I'm carrying through there. But already I feel like I've made a lot of progress as far as knowing my braking points and carrying more speed through the corner and just having more confidence with the car on the track than I did at the beginning of the race.
One minute 37.684.
So I think there's a lot of time right here. I think I could only, or I think I might be able to run that second turn, that short right-hander. I think I might be able to run that almost flat out, which would improve my lap time quite a bit, I think. At the beginning of this race, I was probably spending most of my time there at like 15-20% throttle. I think if I get that line down, I can at least get it up to, you know, 85-90% throughout most of it. Probably not a very clean pass right here by me. I kind of ducked him inside of him when I didn't really have a clean passing zone. He's going to get a little free and go wide right there.
Clear, clear.
This is actually the first car that I've driven on the service that's an open wheel road course car. So, you know, it's got a lot more downforce and it's way lighter than anything that I've really driven on the service on the road side. And I've got to tell you, I don't feel like I'm very good at it. Eventually, I got my lap times down at Suzuka to like a 158, which was a pretty good accomplishment for me. For context, the very fastest guy I saw all week was in like a 157.9, and most times I could be in like a mid to low 159, but my best lap time actually came in a qualifying session. I was at a 158.6, I think, which I thought was a big accomplishment for me in this car. And there's plenty of Class A and Class B licensed guys that still run these. So being able to race with those guys kind of helps me out quite a bit. Helps me learn from them. And kind of good for my confidence just to be able to know that I'm racing with a Class A driver. I haven't really kept up to date as well as I should on the progress I've made in this series, but I'm currently at Class D. And for this video, I was at, going into it, I was at 3.47 on my safety rating. The end of the season is in 2 weeks, and at the end of that season, I'll either get promoted if my safety rating is high enough. I'll get promoted if my safety rating is over 3.0, or I'll stay at a Class D license if it's below 3.0. So I think I'll be able to make that promotion. Honestly, if I put together a couple more good races, I would be able to fast track my way. If you get to a 4.0, you automatically get promoted. So if I put together a few good races, I think it's possible that it could just get promoted to Class D or Class C and then not have to wait for that promotion. But then if I got my safety rating in Class C up to a 3.0 before the end of next week, I would be able to jump all the way up to a Class B already. I don't really think that'll happen, but it is a possibility. So now we've kind of settled in. I'm making cleaner laps. Now what I can really focus on is just getting my lap times down and getting more consistent with my line and braking points, and just being overall more comfortable with the car on the track.
1.794.
So my qualifying time for this race was somewhere in the 1:36s, which I wasn't unhappy with. I mean, I didn't hardly have any practice at this track, so 1:36 really wasn't too bad for me. But my goal for the race was to get down to the 1:34s. I think probably I've already hit a 1:34 at this point in the race. I haven't been paying enough attention to the lap times, but I'm pretty sure I've already hit a 1:34. So this last weekend was Daytona 500 weekend, and
1 minute 36.
I already kind of talked about Daytona 500, so you can check out one of my other videos for that. It's in NASCAR Heat 4 episode 5 if you want to hear my thoughts on the Daytona 500. But I also want to give you my thoughts on a couple of the other races. So, the ARCA race a couple weeks ago, Hailie Deegan finished second. I thought that was pretty impressive. I really think Hailie Deegan has what it takes to be like the next big superstar in our sport. She has a great social media following, and she's really good at marketing herself to companies, and she's good with the media. So I think she has, and on top of that, she's really, from what I can tell, a really good driver as well. So I think she'll be one of the next big superstars of our sport, and I think she'll go on to win a lot of races. Natalie Decker finished top 5 at Daytona. I was impressed with that. I'll be honest, I kind of always have thought that Natalie Decker was kind of all hype. You know, I didn't ever feel like she was that great. So hopefully she can prove me wrong and take that momentum to, I don't even know where the Truck Series next race is, but hopefully she can take that to the intermediate and short tracks and prove me wrong, I guess. The big one that I want to talk about is the Xfinity race. The Xfinity race I was able to watch in almost its entirety. And Noah Gragson came out on top. I wouldn't say I'm like a huge Noah Gragson fan, but I do like Noah Gragson quite a bit. I think he's a really talented driver, and I think he's pretty good with the media and social media. He does well at. But what I really like about him is he's pure. You know, he really shows his emotion with anything that he does. He's not afraid to kind of speak his mind, or that Victory Lane, or not even Victory Lane celebration. You can watch him celebrating on the front stretch, and I don't know, it must have taken him 15 or 20 minutes to even make it to Victory Lane, because he was so into celebrating that win, and gosh, he was having a great time with it, you could tell. But I thought that was super fun to see, and he's just I think he has what it takes to be one of the next superstars as well. The racing for the Xfinity race I thought was pretty good for super speedway racing. One car that I thought was really good and had a really good shot at the win was Jeb Burton, and I was kind of pulling for him. I like him, you know, quite a bit. But then he gets taken out in a wreck, and that was just disappointing. I'd say he probably had one of, if not the very best car in that race. So it was just kind of disappointing to see him not end up finishing where he ran and where he probably deserved to finish.
On 35.364. Front end, keep your eye open. Watch that car down there.
There's another one spun out right there. I'd say probably up to the 7th position at this point. Seventh or 8th position right now. Not terrible, really. Not as high as I'd like to be, but not too bad. You can see already up to 9 incidents in this one. 17 and I get DQ'd, but still got a ways to go for that. But 9 incidents that's up there. Yeah, that really tells you I shouldn't have been in this race. So the real racing season for us is starting soon, very soon. Here in the next week, actually next Friday, February the 28th, we'll be going to Texas for the Now 600 season opener. It's a 2-day show there. Obviously, gonna run both non-wing and A-class. Now, I've mentioned that we're going to have this G-Force chassis for this season. We actually don't have it yet, so we're just going to take the Pace chassis that I've been running my whole micro sprint career to Texas and see what we can do there. I'm just excited to be back in it and actually be racing again. So I don't care what car it is right now. Just glad to be racing this early in the season. Previous years, all I've ever done was start the season at Sweet Springs, which starts early to mid-April. So to be racing this early in the year is something that I've never really experienced before, but looking forward to it. I don't know anything about this track. I think I read somewhere that most of the tracks in Texas are quarter mile, which doesn't excite me very much, but I've been on one quarter mile track before, and that was at Caney, Kansas. You can find the onboard videos on my channel here from that race, but it was just such a fast track. I don't know, I'd say in these little micro sprint cars we were probably getting up to, I don't know, between 90 and 100 miles an hour, I'd say, which is just crazy fast. And then the turns had progressive banking on it, so you run the top and you're up there on quite a bit of banking, it was just really a fast track, and it was honestly pretty intimidating. And the racing there was okay. Like, it wasn't super good racing, but I thought it definitely had good enough racing that there was nothing to complain about, for sure. You know, you could kind of run the bottom and kind of run the top, depending on what the track conditions were like. Sometimes you were limited to only the bottom. Sometimes you were kind of limited to only the top. So it just kind of depended on what the track was like, really.
Right side. Still there.
So that orange car we just passed actually was for position. So now we are up to the 7th spot. And I can tell I'm a little bit faster than this guy in front of me, if I can just figure out a way around him. I don't really know what the good passing zones are on this track. For anyone that doesn't know, good passing zones on a road course are heavy braking zones, which there's not really a ton of on this racetrack, especially now with these cars. There's not. So he kind of pulls back out for right now, but I'll reel him back in here soon. Really, I almost kind of feel like the best passing zone is the front straightaway right here. If you can get a good run off of that last corner and get a good draft on a guy, I feel like you can really get a good run on him, and that's probably really your best bet for making a pass.
More laps.
Yeah, so if you were able to hear my spotter right there, he told me there's only a couple laps left. So probably 2 or 3 at this point. So if I can get through this last turn right here pretty well, which it seems like I do, he kind of missed his apex right there. So I should have a good run on him down this front stretch. Now you can see him coming back to me right here. So duck to the inside right here. Drive it in deep and get myself way in trouble. Drove it in way too deep right there. Off in the grass. Tapped the wall a little right there.
Slow up, slow up, slow up.
So that was with 2 laps to go, I believe. Now he's a couple seconds back out in front. I just drove it in way too deep right there. I don't know, misjudged
White flag,
and screwed up. Yeah, so right there you could hear that the leaders just took the white flag. So I've got about a lap and a half basically to chase this guy back down. Surprising to me, I don't think this car took damage in that hit. You know, these open wheel road course cars are pretty fragile, but I don't think it took any damage in that hit. So still moving right along, and already it kind of looks like closing in a little bit. Probably didn't hear it, but at some point during this race I even got down to a 133, which that's like good enough for me, really. Like, if I'm in the 133s at this track, as far as I'm concerned, like, I'm all set for the week, really. A few more laps of practice and I think I'll be down in the low 133s, and I'll be very competitive for my next race. I'm hoping I'll be able to get another race in this week and have that out for you guys next week. And even on the last lap, going wide right there, another off-track incident. And I'm kind of happy with, well, I don't know if I should say I'm happy with this race, because I ended up with 11 incidents, which is a lot, to be honest. It's kind of bad, honestly, but I don't know. I really was not prepared for this race at all, so just to be able to learn the track a little more and get my lap times competitive was really all I could ask for. So that's going to do it for this one. Going to come home in the 7th position. Hope you guys enjoyed watching me spin out in this one. Got to say thanks to Nathan Benson Motorsports, DDI Fabrication, and Sure-Built Suspensions for all their help on the real world racing. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.